Enter, O seekers of knowledge. We're going to drain the swamp. Drain the swamp. Drain the swamp. What does it sound like when the swamp drains? Sounds like this. Yeah. Hey, Mark Conte reporting. Good morning. We're going to do a little swamp draining today. How's everybody doing? What's up, Vinny? Vinny DiMartini in the house. Nathan Purvis in the house. Jessley Snipes, thank you for joining us. Kenneth Byrne. Good morning, everybody. We're chilling like Bob Dylan today. Funky Friday. Yeah, man. Funky Friday. Funky fresh. So, we some people come in, man. How's everybody doing? So Bernie Sanders is on fire. He's talking about draining the swamp. The markets are getting crushed. Last check, 8. Right again. Markets are down right now as of 10:30 a.m., less than an hour into trading. Hit that refresh button. I go, down to 1,011. Oh, fucking 1,011. Whoa, that's some serious shit right there. That's some serious revelation like that. Look at that line down, man. Look at that. Oh, how does it feel? How does it feel if you have your 401k plan, your stocks? Trump. You love Trump. Trump is good for the economy. Trump is good for the bubble. Trump is bubblicious. All right, look at that. Oh, my God. Look at that streak. I'm going to give you some solid predictions. I've already made my predictions. I think I was a little too soon, though. Right now, the Dow Jones is at 24,600. It's less than a week ago. It was at 29,760. So we're down close to 4,000, almost 5,000 points in a week. Now that's a hell of a plunge, man. 5,000. That's about I don't know in terms of percentage. It's 1/6. 1/6 of your assets are gone, eviscerated. No more to be found. We'll talk more about that in a second, right? So, what's up, man? I just waited for some people to get here. Yes, because of coronavirus. You would be wrong in saying that. The coronavirus has very, very little to do with anything. The coronavirus at this point is a front, although there is economic ramification. But if you're listening to fake news wants you to believe that. But that's actually the bank's positioning and doing the old short, the old hot potato, because guess what? Bernie Sanders is going to be your next president, and we can't have that socialism shit. We can't be taxing. They can't be taxing us and taking control of the economy again. How dare them? We are the neoliberal empire, and we call the shots. That's why the markets are crashing. There's a possibility that they may lose control. Good morning, Sterling Price. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick in the comments, and you won't get timed out. It's proportional. How many times you get timed out and deleted is proportional to how big of a dick you are. Say what you want. Say what you want once. You say it 2-3 times, and you're a troll. That's the rules of the game. Thank you guys for moderation. Good morning. So let's talk about it. So if the market goes down any further, I may have to stop supporting you on Patreon. Yeah, that's a good point. I get your point there, right? The shit. But then again, you know what? I mean, that is I have a lot of friends that are in the market right now, and their stocks are getting crushed right now. And sometimes, the pain of transition, right? I'll eat less. You know what I mean? Like, I get your point there, Stinky. I get your point there, Stinky. So let's dive in. So let's start with a lovely video, an animal video. Let's start with an animal video. A polar bear cub takes first steps outside of cave in Copenhagen Zoo. Now, I hate showing zoo life. It sucks, but maybe this is all we have right now, because as humans continue to totally decimate the planet and extinct everybody, and the polar ice caps are melting and the polar bears have nowhere to run, this may be our last glimpse at a darling little polar bear cub peeking his head out of the cave inside of the zoo. Oh. There's no sound. There's no sound, but how beautiful, I'll narrate. How beautiful my first steps will be. I smell fish. I smell fish, but it's cold out here. I'm so cold. I'm so cold. Fishy. Fishy. So fishy. So yeah, I'm reading the comments. Junk News wants to tell us. He wants to tell us so badly that the coronavirus is real. No, I'm not saying it's not real. I'm the one who told you that it was over 100,000 dead a month ago. I said it first. It's no joke. I know that it stems from I say, cruelty to the animals. It started as a swine flu thing, and it mutated, and the people got what they deserved. In my view, the Chinese are fucked up, man. They're fucking eating dogs, and we're the same. It's karma. It's karma. I believe it started. I don't believe it started in a factory. I believe it evolved out of the brutality of the pigs in China, where they got swine flu and they started to bury them, and the thing mutated. It's based on no evidence whatsoever, but it is based on the teachings of the Buddha. What the hell is this? Miracle baby born without most of his brain.
Trouble hearing? Don't skip this video.
Let's see what he looks like. Let's see what the monster man looks like. Let me see. Let's see. Where's the picture? Where's the picture? Oh, there he is. Ooh.
The brain almost non-existent. Miraculously, Jackson survived. He's now just over a year old.
Hey, listen, brains are overestimated.
In fact, it was the sort of pregnancy where doctors, as gently as possible, mention the word termination. Abortion is much too charged a word.
It wasn't until 23 weeks pregnant that it was brought up.
About the options.
That we had.
Do I see?
Jackson's parents gave him a chance.
Where do they come from? I can't say, but I bet they have come a long, long way.
But in a way, this is the essence of that debate, isn't it?
It's pretty interesting, right? Sorry for that. It's interesting because I think I'm watching this for the first time, but I think it's interesting that do we actually think with our brains? The suggestions that other parts of the body are doing a lot of that as well.
Can be if anybody wants to turn it into it.
Some people take it that way, but
we
don't try to take it that way.
No.
Hi, handsome.
They did.
Wow. You talk about a character actor. If this kid could get his shit together, man, look at that look. What a look for Hollywood.
Think about termination.
I would feel terrible doing something like that. But if they were to tell me he was going to suffer, or he would be in pain, or my life was in jeopardy, then my thought process might have been different.
We're Christian, and we believe in what we believe in, but we still are going to do the best thing for our family, for Britain.
Is Jackson today severely disabled, but thriving?
For us, this just seems normal. We don't have another child. This is the first one.
Even just bathing him is a task that requires both parents.
I don't know.
Where do you put his happiness?
He's happy almost all the time. He's just like any other baby. He's teething and gassy, so he's cranky off.
He's happy without a brain. Sorry for bringing you into that, man. It was fun, though, right? I enjoyed it. Oh, yeah, the polar bear. That's where we got it from, right? So, all right, 23 people in the house. Let's talk about it. So, Bernie Sanders, it's the tomorrow. Tomorrow is the South Carolina election, primary election. A couple of thousand people are going to vote. There's maybe 25, 30 30 delegates up for grabs. Bernie Sanders is not the leader so far. They're saying Joe Biden is out in front. So the bottom line is this is the bellwether for the black vote in South Carolina. A lot of blacks there. They say 60% of the Democratic Party is black. So this is Bernie Sanders' pitch to the blacks. Great video. Bernie is building the most diverse coalition. Check out this video put out by Bernie Sanders, I think yesterday. Check it out.
Bernie, he just stands shoulders over the others. There's no doubt about that. That's one reason why the establishment is so fearful of Bernie Sanders. He reminds me in some ways of what Brother Martin Luther King Jr. had to deal with in the 60s. When you have a certain commitment to fighting against racism, militarism, materialism, and poverty.
Dr. King, in his last 3 years of life, his things were anti-war, the eradication of poverty, and the upliftment of workers' rights. No other presidential candidate I've seen in my life has an agenda that matches Dr. King's agenda with more points than Bernie Sanders.
The greatest indication of who you'll fight for and what you'll fight for as president is who and what you've been fighting for your entire life.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King says that you will know the tree by the fruit that it bears. And if you check Senator Bernard Sanders' records, you're going to see good fruit dating back decades.
The agenda that I saw Dr. King march for all of our civil rights finally is on a platform of a politician.
He's the one who has the pulse of what is going on with most of the people in this nation.
The senator has brought together one of the most diverse coalitions ever in American politics to demand a better society.
All of us have an obligation to pursue justice at all costs, and that is what this movement is all about.
This is a call to action and an invitation. I'm joining the movement that has encouraged so many people to take action.
With these hands, we will rebuild our communities.
It is about you and you and you and you and you and all of us together. And we are going to elect Senator Bernard Sanders the 46th president of these United States.
What does that make you think of? In watching it, you see that it's a brilliant ad. I mean, what Cornel West is saying initially, that Bernie Sanders is the epitome of Martin Luther King Jr., that they only started to take King seriously when he started to talk about income and wealth inequality and poverty in this country. The point is that I've experienced black on white racism in my life. I live in New York City. I work for the city of New York, and in my view, in my estimation, in my personal experience, I experienced quite a bit of racism against me because I was a 50-year-old white male working in a predominantly black house, which was in the Department of Sanitation, and then the enforcement division of the Department of Sanitation, and then as an HR worker, which I don't really talk about much because I kind of let it go. I expected to be discriminated against, and eventually I just walked away. But the point I'm trying to make is that there's a lot of people who believe very strongly, a lot of minority people that have this incredible desire for equality of some sort. Now, I say that a lot of the equality has already been given. A lot of the rights are already on the table. And that there really is the discrimination really lies within, so to speak. Now, is it proper to pander to that ignorance? Because I think that's what it is. I think a lot of this notion that blacks are going to rise up and get more and more and more and take it away from the whites, really, because that's really what we're saying. Now, is this racist to talk about? No. It doesn't quite make sense, black racism, anymore in this age, in my view. And that the pendulum, if you think of it as a pendulum swinging from swinging on extremes. It's almost that black racism is more extreme. Black racism against whites is more extreme now than white racism against blacks, in my view. And so an ad like that is clear, in my view, Bernie Sanders is pandering. These are the things that I don't agree with Sanders. I don't agree with all of Sanders whatsoever. I agree with him in terms of his economic vision. I think a lot of these issues of income and wealth inequality and the feeling of not being adequate in your own country, as many blacks do, I think those things go away in a proper economic setting. In a setting where the economy works on behalf of the people and not the corporations. You follow what I'm saying? I think that racism is fueled by poverty, abject poverty, fighting over crumbs. That's my point. But still a brilliant ad. If you watch it in terms of Bernie Sanders needs to convince blacks that he could speak the language. And it's not all blacks. I think that's geared. Those ads are geared towards older blacks. Here's something interesting. This is black women dominate campaign leadership roles in South Carolina. Check this shit out.
50% of Democratic voters in South Carolina are black, and more than 50% of those voters are women. So it's no surprise that black women are playing a crucial role for Democrats in the Palmetto State. Many are serving on presidential campaigns as state directors and in other political leadership roles. 2020 campaign reporter Lecrae Mitchell joins me now from Charleston, South Carolina. Lecrae, first, I want to tell our viewers about the great article you have on CBSNews.com.
Nice black commentator. She has a big smile. I just want to touch on Jessley Snipes saying Jessley Snipes, that's such a name, saying that Biden is telling that he was arrested trying to visit Nelson Mandela. Right. Biden caught in a lie. I don't have that video clip up, but I saw it, where Biden is saying that he was somehow arrested in South Africa. It's the whole story is bullshit. But I hear you on that.
.com right now called We Get It Done. Black women play key roles in South Carolina campaigns. Go ahead and tell our viewers what you've been finding as you've been sitting down with these state directors and political leaders from different presidential campaigns.
Happy to do so, Lana. I had a chance to sit down with some of the state directors and political leaders that have been running the presidential campaigns here in the state throughout this election cycle.
Well, that's all I really wanted to see was that 60% of South Carolina Democrats are black and 50% are women. Wow, that's quite a demographic, right? 60% are in blacks are minority in this country, right? It's still only like 24, 25%, 23%, or 18%, whatever it is. Right? But 60% in South Carolina, so it's heavily slanted. It's a great bellwether to see if older Baptist, Obama-loving, Obama-hugging blacks are going to swing for what they perceive as being the second best. The right? Is that what it is? Is that what it is with Biden? Because that's the only attraction. He's the Obama's legacy. We'll talk about Obama. He loves talking about Obama, Joe Biden.
And what's interesting is they are African American women, and some people may think that's a common thing, but as I learned in an interview with them over an hour-long conversation, it's not so common. And so it was particularly important because although black women have been the backbone of the Democratic Party in this state and in other states, a lot of time their work goes without recognition. And so I thought it was important to sit down.
All right, I had enough of this video. So the point is that there's a whole lot of blacks in South Carolina, and the election is tomorrow, and those people are going to... Hold on a second. Yeah. A whole lot of people are going to be voting based on their blackness. And that's the only reason, apparently, the single reason why Joe Biden is so far out ahead in the polls is because of his relationship to the former black president. Crazy, right? So here's the Super Tuesday states. We'll talk about that in a second. Latest polls on South Carolina. There's one out today, 28th, yes. South Carolina Democratic presidential primary data for progress. I've seen that a few times. Has Biden by 9. Biden by 9 in South Carolina. Look at this one today. Berkeley, Bernie Sanders, 17 points out ahead in California. California, here I come. Right back where I started from. California, we love you. We absolutely love you. California, 17 points ahead for Bernie Sanders. Look at this, how disgraced. You want to see the disgraced Elizabeth Warren? Massachusetts Democratic presidential primary, Bernie Sanders, 8-point lead. 8-point lead over Elizabeth Warren in her home state. Oh, that's got to hurt. That's got to kill. Here's another one. Massachusetts has got Bernie 2 points over Elizabeth Warren in her own state. There's a Vermont, I saw a Vermont poll. Bernie Sanders is got like a 50-point lead. He's totally going to blow out. He's doing what he should do in his hometown. He's blowing out the competition. In Utah, Sanders 28, got a 9-point lead. In Virginia, Biden 5. Don't believe it. I saw Virginia. I saw other polls of Virginia. I don't believe anything that's anti-Bernie. I really don't, because I think I just think it's just like South Carolina. They're inflating the possibility of Joe Biden leading based on the premise that there's 60% black women, or 60% blacks and 50% women in the country, and that for that reason they're going to go for Joe Biden. I just don't think so. I think Sanders has made significant inroads into the black community. People will say, well, in 2016, Hillary Clinton rocked his clock in the South with the blacks. And that is true. However, Bernie Sanders was an unknown. Bernie Sanders, that election was rigged where it was South heavy up front, where they front loaded all the South, where Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton had been campaigning for years. Right? They knew the Clintons. Oh, yeah, Hillary. All right? And Obama's standing next to Hillary. That was a rig. No one knew who Bernie Sanders was. But now, after all this time, they know. You got Cornel West. You got Nina Turner. You got all. They're doing their deal. So the idea that Joe Biden by default is winning South Carolina without, who are you polling? Old blacks in the Baptist church? Come on. Look, you know what I'm saying? So as of yesterday, Joe Biden had a 16-point lead in South Carolina. And Monmouth says he had a 20-point lead. But today he's only got a 9-point lead. I am buying it. I'm not buying it. Look, even if Biden squeaks by, if they cheat him in, right? You got Jim Clyburn, the black guy, don't understand goddamn word to say. He talks like this, talks like a marble in his mouth, talks like, yeah, black. Right? Jim Clyburn. Right? If Jim Clyburn puts his finger on the scale for Joe Biden, and Biden, wins by a few points, it's not a disgrace because it's cheating is going to go on, right? And it shows if Sanders cuts into the black vote. All right, there's plenty of blacks in California. Look at the big states, right? So other polls, it's just the polls are interesting now. They're fun. Colorado's got Sanders 12 up. Florida has Biden up by 9. Oh, I saw yesterday they had Bloomberg up by 10 in Florida because the South Florida Latinos hate Bernie because he said Fidel Castro gave literacy, made the country, made Cuba literate. He did something for literacy. You can't say that about Castro. You got to shit on him all the time. Right? When Obama said it was okay. But when Bernie Sanders says it, it's the end of the world. So what else? Wisconsin, Bernie Sanders, 12 points. That's a blowout. Where else? California, another 17 points. Virginia. I told you, man. Virginia's full of blacks. The Democratic Party of Virginia is loaded with blacks. And Bernie Sanders has a 9-point lead. Colorado, Bernie Sanders 14 points ahead. Washington State, of course, Sanders by 6. The Economist, as of yesterday, had Sanders up by 10. for the presidential nomination. North Carolina, Biden by 3. No. Tie in North Carolina. Maryland, Sanders by 6. And what else? South Carolina. Oklahoma, Biden by 1. Why? Because he's black? Because Oklahoma's got blacks? Texas is a tie, according to the University of Houston. No. I saw polls where Sanders was ahead. New York Democratic primary. This is interesting. Sanders by 4 over Bloomberg. Wow. That's Bloomberg is going to, after Super Tuesday, Bloomberg, I think, is just going to, he's just going to ride it out. He's just going to, all the other shit sandwiches are going to fall, and he's going to ride it out. Look at these numbers in Wisconsin. Look at the Rust Belt. Michigan, Sanders by 9. Wisconsin, Sanders by 17. Pennsylvania, Sanders by 5. That's it right there. That's your election. Whoever wins, whoever can sway the Rust Belt wins the election. Takes it out of Trump's hands. End of swamp. Swamp over. Swamp over. So there's the map of Super Tuesday. This is the shit right here where my cursor's spinning around right here. See this? You got right here Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois will probably go Sanders. I haven't seen anything with Illinois. And Indiana primary comes way late, so that's really no need at this point. But you've got Ohio, and you got Pennsylvania, and Sanders is going to win New York. So if all of this goes blue, right? They keep making the argument that Florida has to go blue, that Bernie Sanders can't win Florida. It doesn't matter. If he wins the Rust Belt and Virginia and North Carolina, and the usual suspects, of course, California, Washington, and Oregon and Nevada, might flip Texas blue. This shit is over. It's going to be a Ronald Reagan landslide. Bernie 320 to Trump's 120. He's going to walk out of the office with his tail between his legs, Trump. I know, Trump's tough. Trump's tough. Trump's not going to fold his cards easy. So I want to look at this. Elizabeth Warren has basically shot herself in the foot for any VP consideration. Listen to this. Listen to this exchange. She was asked about, do you think that America should be one person, one vote? When asked about the superdelegates stepping in to overturn the Democratic primary in a brokered convention. And she went along saying, because she's down, she said, yes. Listen to the exchange.
Can you explain why the will of the voters should not matter if no candidate reaches a majority of delegates?
So you do know that was Bernie's position in 2016.
So she flips the question. She knows the question is coming, or she was prepared for the question. And then she says, well, Bernie said the same thing. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit?
Not necessarily, no.
No, he didn't say that. But the proper question was, I didn't ask you about Bernie Sanders, bitch. I asked you about your position, not Bernie Sanders' position. And there she takes the opportunity to dump it on Sanders' head.
He won 22 states, so he went to the convention
that was
for his
Bernie's
voters.
position in 2016, that it should not go to the person who had a plurality.
Yeah.
So, and remember, his last play was to superdelegates.
That's actually true. Bernie Sanders did plead to the superdelegates, but the point is that the Democrats have always stood behind the fact that it should be one person, one vote. That's why they want to eliminate the Electoral College. That's the premise of the argument of getting rid of the Electoral College, is that it would be one person, one vote, and not it wouldn't be weighted per state. And so, what's your stand? She's a hypocrite. She's a turncoat.
So the way I see this is you write the rules before you know where everybody stands, and then you stick with those rules. So for me, Bernie had a big hand in writing these rules. I didn't write them, but Bernie did when they were putting together the 2016 platform for the Democratic Convention. Those are the rules that he wanted to write. And
Those are not the rules that he wanted to write, you fucking liar. Those are the rules that got stuffed down their throat. That the DNC Rules Committee was rigged with Hillary Clinton people. It was like 6-2 or 6-4, whatever. They couldn't get anything passed. They wanted to eliminate the superdelegates. They wanted that was one of the things. So for Elizabeth Warren to get up there and say this is what Bernie wanted is just a blatant lie. It's factually incorrect.
Others wanted to write. Everybody got in the race thinking that was the set of rules. I don't see how come you get to change it just because he now thinks there's an advantage to him for doing that.
Wow. Whoa. So your VP ambitions are up in smoke. I still say it's Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard. The Fox News people said it yesterday. She's smart. She's young. She's female. She's a little center left where Bernie is left. Yeah, she's the right pick. I think it's Tulsi Gabbard. So bye Elizabeth. Pocahontas. It just seems desperate. That whole exchange came off desperate. It doesn't seem like someone with any integrity, with any, a breath of honesty. That came off as, I'm going to tear Bernie Sanders down because this is my last chance. She's gonna look back on that video clip, and it's not gonna be pretty. So that's that. You want to look at the markets again? Oh my god, the market is crashing. 750. Yeah, it's recovering a little bit, but that's what it does. Shit doesn't go straight down. It wobbles down. Look at that drop. I'll give you my predictions in a second. It's not my... Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's leave that up there for a second. Let's leave it up there and we'll have a good look at it. So let's just look... I want to look beyond... So what was the title of this? Because Trump is going to... Bernie Sanders is going to drain the swamp? Yeah, he is going to drain the swamp. Right? In universal single-payer healthcare, the swamp gets drained because you're eliminating the insurance companies. You're getting them out of the way. That's called draining the swamp. Guys, that's what draining the swamp is. Draining the swamp is not chasing James Comey to the end of the earth. Some disgraced FBI guy. Those swamp creatures are there, and they're not going anywhere. You have to change. You got to fundamentally change the figurehead, the bully pulpit, the guy at the end, the top of the arrow. Trump picked his cabinet. Trump picked Steve Mnuchin from Goldman Sachs. He picked Mike Pompeo, a CIA. He was the head of the CIA. He picked John Bolton, who's arguably a war criminal. He picked Elliot Abrams, who's clearly a war criminal from all his involvements in South America, Nicaragua, Honduras. Right, this guy led the charge of all these heinous South American wars. Right? So Trump picked his cabinet, and Bernie Sanders will pick his cabinet as well. And if you get Cornel West as maybe the press secretary or whatnot, so the presidency matters. It's an enormous power in those picks. So we saw all this. South Carolina's coming on March 3rd. That's Tuesday. We're going to see all of these states: Alabama. We're going to see Arkansas, California, Colorado, Maine. All right. Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont. I gave you the map. The dark blue is a nice visual. All of these are going to come in. Now, South Carolina is going to go tomorrow. That's right over here. And arguably that's the deep south. So is South Carolina going to be representative of Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, Oklahoma? I don't know. I haven't seen any polling at all in these areas. They'll probably poll it after. Well, it's too late already. It's already too late. What are they going to do? Poll it on Monday and then Tuesday is the election? So I don't see. I mean, South Carolina could have an effect right here, but that's not where the election is going to be decided. That's not where the election is going to be decided. Let's continue to March 10. Then we see Michigan. Then we see Washington State. Possibly Missouri. Possibly Missouri could go for Sanders. Why not? Who else? Biden? Come on. Remember, after Tuesday, some of these people have to drop. Elizabeth Warren's not going to be able to hang on if she comes in like 6th again or 5th. Amy Klobuchar will probably drop. Pete Buttigieg can't get out of his own way. And Biden will probably stay in because he's arrogant and pompous. But it's going to clearly be Bernie Sanders out in front, and Bloomberg is then going to try to drain his resources and hang on all the way to the convention as the moderate candidate. That's just my view. All right. March 10, you got, again, Michigan, Washington State, big states, lots of numbers. March 17, if this election isn't over on Tuesday, it certainly will be over on March 17 when Iowa speaks, Illinois, Arizona, Florida, right? And then what else? We got Wisconsin down here on April 7. And finally, New York and Pennsylvania will go April 28. Now, again, it should be wrapped up. We shouldn't have to wait all that time. It should be wrapped up by, March. It should really be wrapped up by Tuesday. But March 10, we'll get to see Michigan. March 17, we'll get to see Ohio. 2 big Rust Belt states. And if they break for Sanders, again, it's already, the writing's already on the wall. So wow. What's up in the chat, man? Sorry, I haven't been paying attention, you guys. I haven't been paying attention. Oh, don't be a dick in the comments. Don't be under this. Chris Conwell wants to come in. Here he is to criticize. Oh, Conte, he doesn't understand the working class. I don't understand the work. Missouri surprisingly went for Clinton 3 to 10s of 1%, Sterling Price says. In 2016, took days to report. Yeah, I don't think Hillary Clinton, I think there was, a lot of cheating at that point. And it should be wrapped up before Tuesday. Before Missouri gets to speak is what I wanted to say. Try talking and reading at the same time. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Sterling Price, for your moderation. If you don't want to get chopped out, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Be a dick. So what else do we want to talk about? So the market is here. Let's talk about the market for a final time, and then I'll let you guys go, man. Because, hey, listen, man. It's not mandatory that I do an hour every day. So let me just let this thing refresh. Bing. Let it refresh. Refreshing. Uh-oh, it's sticky. It's sticky. They're sticking it. Yahoo Finance. This is a good place to look. So I'm going to just tout my trend line one more time. Remember a long time ago? I said a long time ago? I put this trend line up. See this diagonal line right here? See the diagonal line that runs diagonally? The only diagonal line on the table? That is the trend line from 2009. Now, if you look over here, right, these are the Bush eras. This is the Bush years, right? From 2000 all the way to 2007 and a half when he left office, when he was a lame duck. It was high, and then the fear of the Democrats coming in and changing everything, and the bubble economy that Bush had not created, but certainly allowed to continue, the housing bubble. We're in a similar bubble now. It's just a debt bubble, but the housing bubble, that's what Republicans do. They just kind of turn their back, give quantitative easing, let the market inflate. It doesn't matter. It's a bubble, so what? Who cares? Just keep printing money and paying for it. So that was the height of the Bush era, and it crashed. Obama got in right about here. All right, here's this is, I got my cursor. It's 8,900 when Obama was inaugurated, or when he won. And 3 months later, it dropped another 1,000 points down to At one point, it was like 6,000. Yeah, 6,626 on the Dow. Wow, and we went up to 30,000. So that was the bottom of that was 3 months after Obama was elected. It dropped another, 15%. Think about that for a second. And then here's the Obama years, all up, all kind of steady up. There were some challenges there, but for the most part, it was a steady incline all the way up till Trump started to flex his muscles, until the Obama years were done, and then it went sideways. Right? This is sideways. This is the Obama sideways era. Right? And right here is where Trump comes in. Right? It didn't dip. When Trump came in and went straight up. Why? Because he says he's going to give tax breaks to the corporations. Right? He guaranteed trillions of dollars in tax breaks to corporations that don't pay money anyway. He basically says, keep your money. The money you owe us, hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's crony capitalism. Right? He took care of his people. We're going to get Mike Pompeo in here. He's going to go steal the oil down in Venezuela. We're going to be okay, man. Don't worry about it. The markets are going to go up. Fucking come on. We got putting together a brilliant swamp. And that's what happened. The market went right up. Right? All the way up. I had called it over here. I had said a while ago, almost a year ago, I had said that Sanders would probably win the primary and probably be the Democratic nominee if but the cheating, if he can get out in front of the cheating, and it appears that now he is. And mainstream media and the corporatization, the oligarch did everything they could to stop that. The Stop Bernie movement. It's all in politics. You could say this has something to do with coronavirus. It has fucking nothing to do with coronavirus. It's in the leadership of the country. Which way are we going? The leadership of the country is evident in the numbers. It's evident in the numbers. And why does the market crash like that? Look at that line. Oh my God. That's a 5,000 point drop. 5,000 points and continuing. You look at the 5-day chart. Look at the 5-day chart. It's been nothing but straight the F down. Straight the F down. It's not refreshing. It's being very sticky, Yahoo Finance, because it's slowing the shit down, man. They don't want people seeing this shit. They don't want people seeing this shit. That's totally froze. My Yahoo Finance froze. It's frozen. But anyway, chart not available. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Just let it pop up, man. Let it pop up. So, yeah, my dog looks more Indian than her. What are you talking about, Elizabeth Warren? You're probably right. The rent is still too damn high. Yeah. Rents are high, food prices are high, everything's high. And what do people do? They go to they go to credit cards. So here's the last few days. Look at this plunge. This is daily plunges. Look at this shit. In 5 days, all right, 6 days, whatever, the high was 29.3, and now we're at 24.8. So that's 4,500 points in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 6 days. We're in the 6th day of a steady decline. That's devastating. Oh my God, that puts such panic on the markets. But what's causing it? What's really causing it? Is it coronavirus? No, that's not what's going on here. What's going on? Where's my? This is hard to work with. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry that I'm it's not giving me my information, the information that I so need to talk about this. It's sticky. So that's not because of coronavirus. What happened 5 days ago? Bernie Sanders won the Nevada caucus, and it shows that that shit is about to change, all right? Because this guy means it. This guy means it. He really means he wants to give universal single-payer health care to everybody. He wants to eliminate student debt and delete it from the record. He wants to legalize marijuana, right? Legal, right? Fucking executive order. He wants to decrease the military-industrial complex and take them, stop paying off Boeing and stop these insurgency wars, the war machine, the profitable war machine. He really means it. Go back in his history and look. That's what he means. That's why it's going down. That's why the market's going down. 24.8. So my prediction, based on what I just told you, was that the markets would come back to the amount that Trump, the exact point where Trump came in. This is the Trump bump, for lack of a better term. The Trump bump occurred right around 18,100 on the Dow. And it bumped all the way up to, it almost came close to doubling, right? 29. Total bubble. All along, he's calling for quantitative easing when the market's going up. Printing money. It's a bubble. It's a debt bubble. People are out overspent. They're carrying $8,000, $10,000 worth of debt. They don't have $500 in their pocket. They need money. They go to a credit card. It's a debt bubble. And that'll pop. And then the banks will come crying. So my prediction is that the markets, as Sanders surges, you're going to see the markets move closer to the trend line right here. But it's going to come down pretty fast. It's likely to come down extremely quick because we're running out of time. So if you look at the line going this way, right? Look at the line going this way. I don't know if you could see it on your screen, but I'm right at right here is November 9, would be the equivalent of November 9, the actual election. So my guess is that the market is going to continue to come down and hit the trend line and probably break that trend line around 24. I'm sorry, probably about 22,005, right around there, 22,000 on the Dow, right around the time of the election, right? And then 3 months. Well, actually, it'll probably be a little more. And then you'll see the real dip. The real crash will come 3 months after Sanders is in office because everything's about to change, and they really mean it. And you're going to see, entire industries crash. You're going to see them, we're going to witness the insurance companies crashing because you got a guy screaming that this is raping the country. It's bad for business, right? Eventually they'll go under. So nonetheless, I would say that 3 months after Sanders' election, right? 3 months is actually right here. You're going to see the market come down significantly. You're going to see this kind of pattern. You see the steady incline? Over here, you're going to see a steady decline. And then we'll be right back there at right around 18,200. That was my prediction over here. And then it took off and, again, for many reasons, but that's where it'll probably go. So, Marcus Conte reporting what's going on in the chats. Good morning. Don't stop being a dick. Don't be a dick. I'm going to smoke and Oz. Smoky. Forgive my student loan so I can buy more weed. Okay. I got to say about marijuana legalization. Let's talk about that for a second. Pot is a devastatingly powerful drug. I smoked, acres of pot as a kid, right? And I know that shit, man. That shit is visceral and cerebral, and it fucking fucks with your head, and it leaves you like you can't think straight, man. You can't. I couldn't do this if I was smoking pot. I couldn't say a word. I'd be like, right? That's how you get when you smoke that shit. And the more you smoke it, the more you stay in that state. So the legalization, I know people may not agree. I don't think it should be a crime, clearly, but because of the nature of the American way, when you legalize something, it's actually a promotional kind of thing. It's a thing where people are going to start saying, "Oh, look, it's legal, and so everybody should smoke." I don't know. I think there are, especially the quality of the pot these days, the very high THC content. I understand that the THC contents are now upwards of 40% of the bud. That's insane. That is like That's like one puff, and a fucking teenage kid could jump out the window. 2 puffs, 3 puffs, you jump out the window. So that's where we're heading, right? It's legal all over the place. I know it's legal in California. It's legal in Nevada, where I just was. I saw it. Oregon, Washington State. It's coming, right? So Sanders gets in and legalized marijuana. Now, I don't know. I mean, it's, again, throwing people in jail is not the right idea, but that is some potent shit. And I think there will be health ramifications once it's legal nationwide. I think it is an invitation for people who wouldn't ordinarily have used marijuana to experiment with it. And hopefully their first experience will be, wow, shit is crazy, man. I never want to smoke that shit again. But a lot of people will be like, yeah, maybe that is the case. It's not like, I think marijuana is clearly not, it's not heroin, it's not cocaine. Although those drugs should be legal as well. I think that heroin and cocaine are they're longer lasting. They last for hours. Not cocaine, but marijuana doesn't have that Pavlov effect like cocaine does, where you take some cocaine, you sniff some cocaine, or you smoke cocaine, you continually need more and more and more. Marijuana doesn't have that effect. Heroin only has that effect because of the physical withdrawal, and it comes 8 hours, 10 hours later. So I think that the idea that legalizing marijuana, which there is no physical side effects, but there certainly is psychologically addictive properties to it, is something to think about. It is something we're moving in that direction of decriminalization, and but not only decriminalization, but actually having stores that sell it. Here's a pot store. It's like an alcohol store, right? I don't know. It's just something to think about. It is a wacky drug, and it's a hallucinogenic cigarette, for lack of a better term, where you sit and you hallucinate. And Bernie Sanders is on that stage. We're going to legalize marijuana. It's crazy times. It's good. I think it's a good thing. I don't think that these things should be criminalized whatsoever, at all. No way. But be careful what you wish for. I think that's the best way to put it. Be careful what you wish for, because it's coming. It's coming, man. Everybody wanted decriminalized. You had those NORML organizations and all that shit, man. People, I still say if you want to, it's only legal when you can buy seed. Like you can go to the gardening store on the corner and you can buy, 10 or 20, buy a lot of 20, super skunk seeds. And at that point, I would call it legal, where the distribution of the seed and the growing is legal. Because without growing, it's still just a racket. Where a gram or 2 or 3 grams is still $50. What is it, $50, $60 for 3 grams, 3.5 grams of a weed? Little buds, $60 for a handful of bud. That's still robbery, in my view. When you can grow all of this in your yard, all you need is the seed. And it's not rocket science. You could take a handful of seed and throw it in the corner of your tomato garden, and you're going to get in this climate, if you threw them in June, by September or October, as the light, decreases, you would get 2 pounds of pot, easy. 2 pounds of high-grade pot. It's not about, marijuana grows so easily if you have the right seed. I think that's the thing that would be, I would call it legal once the seed is legal. The manufacturing and the distribution of seed, so that people can grow it in their own, backyard, right? And, I mean, if you have a big backyard, all you got to do is just, it's not hard to do. If you have the correct seed, the genetics are there, even if you don't get the same yield. The only difference is if you just threw a pile of seed in the corner, you would get males and females commingling, and then you would have the marijuana itself would have seed. And that's the thing you could teach farmers, how to remove the males. So it is a booming industry. I think it's coming faster than we think. Right? It's right upon us. If Sanders is in, he said on day one he'll remove marijuana from the federal books. It's no longer a crime. Then you have state-to-state distribution. Right now, you can't cross from state to state. After that happens, you'll have recreational marijuana across the country. So that's where we're going, man. We're going to hallucinogenic smoke. Hallucinogenic smoke. Yeah, I will never buy from a store, Sterling Price says. I prefer homegrown. Homegrown is a thing of the past. People used to say, "Oh, homegrown, it's not as good as the shit that you buy that's, imported across the borders." It's simply not true. The stuff, the marijuana that's on the market now is all high quality, and you can attribute that to the Dutch. Right? The Dutch farmers and the Dutch, head shops for 30 years have been mixing the seed. And at some point, they mixed it with garlic and they made it sweet. But the THC, when you cross two plants that have a high THC level, then the offspring tends to be even higher. And they all taste different and have a different fragrance to them. But the idea that that's homegrown and it's of a lesser quality is simply not true. I think what people used to not know is how to grow the plant itself. If you grow the plant and you try to smoke the leaves, like you don't even wait till it buds, then of course it's garbage. But if you actually know what you're doing, if you allow the plant to mature to bud, right when the light cycle, and if you're growing outside, the natural light cycle decreases and the plants start to bud. In absence of the male, the females will overproduce resin. They'll overproduce the THC quality of the plant. If not, if they're allowed to resonate, if they're allowed to seed, then the seeds stop the production of THC. It doesn't mean that the plant is any less potent. You just have to smoke a little more, I imagine, right? It's just a little weaker. It's not the high THC quality, but that doesn't matter. Who cares? What would you rather do? Get a little less quality? Because those seeds also can be grown seedless. Any plant, any marijuana can be grown seedless by removing the male. And you can teach someone how to do that fairly quickly. You do it with a microscope, actually. You do it at around 10 weeks. And then you could see, you actually look in the vagina. You look for the hairy thing coming out the vagina, right? And that's the female, right at the Y. Males grow grape-like balls. They grow pollen balls, and the female grows a sticky stick that reaches for the pollen. Right? It's easy to detect. It's detected at about 10 days after the light cycle changes. It's not hard to figure out. So anyway, yeah, indica, sensimilia is basically seedless. That's all it means. It's Spanish for seedless. So psilocybin could be used by everyone in varying doses. Yeah, I mean, I think we're moving in that direction, but I didn't want to make this a drug talk. I think that decriminalization definitely brings on a certain other element of storefront where, all the head shops and, I just think it's a good thing. I think that I witnessed it in Holland and I saw that, that all the marijuana activity was confined to the coffee shops where people can smoke, and it didn't seem to affect anybody else. It didn't seem to affect the city proper around it. People wanted it, that's where they went, and that's where they stayed. And the people that didn't want it don't have to go there. Right? That's a just, just equitable society, right? So Mark's Conte reporting. We'll watch tomorrow. Tomorrow is the big election. Oh, yeah. Put some Fat Boy on. What's this one? What's this one? Ooh, that feels it. Yeah. Have a good day, everybody.